where mental health has been this bad. People's mental health, it's extremely bad. And it comes from where people are overworked. People don't have family support. They go home, nobody's there to love them. Nobody's there to distract them, by the way. Sometimes you could view bad feelings, all these things, anxiety, depression, sadness, all these types of things. You could view it like a little goblin that's trying to get you. It can only get you when you're sitting still. Sometimes just being busy is a cure. Think about it. Like when you get home and immediately, boom, there's a dinner. You got to go. You have to eat dinner. When you're eating dinner, 3 different people are talking and there's all these conversations, etc. Then after dinner, someone needs help with homework. Then after the help with homework, you go down for Isha. Then after Isha, somebody needs to be picked up from practice. Then after that, you're going to go and finally sit with the person that you live with, that is your spouse. You haven't seen them all day. And at some point in life, you become almost like colleagues in a factory of humans, right? The house needs maintenance, the building needs maintenance, there are bills, there are people. And then there is the middle generation, which has elderly and kids, both. They got both. So they're parenting both sides now. So busy. And sometimes that's actually a great blessing, to be busy, but to be busy doing good things for people who you love and they love you back. So that aspect of family is really important. The aspect of being overworked, she mentioned that. I think that's a huge thing. People are just, when you're overworked, you don't sleep well. When you don't sleep well, you don't think well. When you're lacking sleep and your judgment's off, you don't eat well or exercise well. It's just a domino effect. And if all that happens to you and you end up, and you're alone at the end of the day, it compounds day after day after day, it compounds. And the way we live in the modern cities, you might not get any sun, you might not get any nature, even if you live in the suburbs. You don't always get nature out in the suburbs. Okay, so all these things, we haven't even touched spirituality, because I personally believe even the mental and emotional health of people outside Darul Islam was probably far better than it is today for people. The way of living was far more conducive to a normal mental state. And that's what we got to keep focusing on, because I think Iblis tries to make us go mad. What does Allah say about the awliya? ألا إن أولياء الله لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. The people who are so near to Allah, they have 2 attributes. You should never worry about them. They don't have anxiety. When the Quran says that, doesn't mean absolutely zero, but the bulk of any anxiety they get is minimal. They don't suffer severe anxiety. And number 2, what's the next symptom or the attribute that they have? They don't get sad. So yes, of course, if their child dies, the Prophet ﷺ himself wept for his own sons when they died. His daughter died. 5 out of his 6 children died. And then the 6th one, Sayyidah Fatima Zahra, he knew about her and her father, and her 2 sons would have very sad fates. Prophet ﷺ alluded in many hadiths, one direct, that Fatima will die shortly thereafter. When you know that your daughter's going to die and leave the grandkids whom you love. And your daughter's not going to live a full life to see her daughter and her sons get married. It's a sad thing, right? Then he knows that Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib, he's going to die shaheed. Okay? Prophet ﷺ knows that Sayyidina al-Hasan, he's going to suffer in his life. Why else did the Prophet ﷺ said, Inna ibni hadha sayyid? This son of mine is a chief, because he knows people will tear him down. People are going to tear him down and to say, you're nothing. You gave up the khilafah. You're weak. So the Prophet pronounced it. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned Al-Hussein and knew his story and said that he would be killed in a land that is karbun wa bala. So, subhanallah. A lot of suffering that the Prophet ﷺ had. So of course there's going to be sadness. And I just said that the Prophet ﷺ knew that Sayyidina Ali would die shaheed. I can't remember if I got that right. It was on the battle of Uhud, on the mountain of Uhud. It was it was Umar and Uthman. Sorry, not Sayyidina Ali. And it was Umar and Uthman, because he said, that was Abu Bakr and Umar. Prophet ﷺ said to Uhud, stay still, for upon you is a prophet and a Siddiq and a Shaheed. So is there a hadith about Sayyidina Ali's Shahada? I don't know, so I can't say that. So unless we go back to that hadith and find it. Nonetheless, the point being is that the people who are very close to Allah Ta'ala are attributed in the Quran, have the attributes that they don't suffer from these things. So therefore, Shaitan is trying to fill us with sadness and anxiety. He's the one who's behind this. As Shaitan is described that he يُخَوِّفُ أَوْلِيَاءَ. If you're near to him, he makes you afraid. Okay? He tries to create fear, tries to create anxiety, tries to create a world system where you're just working like a rat. You're in a dingy city, so you're away from the sun that Allah created for us and gives us so much happiness, to be honest with you. Just the sun is something that cures people. You're away from nature completely. You're in a factory, you're in a city, you're in an office, you're in front of a computer, an artificial light, everything's artificial. Your food, the food that you eat, did not Shaitan promise to alter the creation of Allah? وَلَا يُغَيِّرُنَّ خَلْقَ اللَّهِ. Iblis said, I will make people change the creation. Is not food part of that creation? What else do we eat? Plants and animals, right? And we drink the water and we breathe the air. So by changing the creation of Allah, ourselves we're ingesting junk and poison, especially in the United States. Then we split up the families. لِيُهْلِكَ الْحَرْثَ وَالنَّسْلِ. What does Iblis want to do? He wants to destroy your crops, and he wants to destroy lineage. So the ultimate goal is to starve you and to make sure you just die out. Remember, Iblis hates human beings. He hates humanity altogether. But in the process, it's not going to go from healthy to non-existent. It's going to be poisoned. So the relationships are poisoned. Families are poisoned. And Nasl is destroyed. Father and daughter relationship poisoned. Father and son relationship. Mother-daughter, mother-son. Siblings, parents.